So I'm becoming a broken record, but I want to emphasize and apologize that I may be boring people right at the beginning. I just want to set up the context. Some new people come in and be like, "Well, what was it?" Keeping it brief, DOA Defender Advance, and again, it's a bit of a misnomer. We'll get to that. That the DOA label technically doesn't belong to him. But anyway, Scott DOA Defender Advance is known as a weird radical activist protester. Been in various movements, Palestine, Black Lives Matter. Then he hooked into the anti-Scientology movement about, I guess, a year and a half ago. And his record has been, to put it mildly, very mixed. And Dodge is a journalist who's been covering these issues in LA and other states as well. He's done other work as well on Elvis. I want to go back to those videos soon. He was recently up in Canada. And there we go. That's the basic lay of the land. I think Aaron Smith-Levin is pretty obvious. He's a big YouTuber. I think he's a lousy guy, but he covers occasionally good issues here and there. That's the basic lay of the land. And let's get blunt. I really haven't looked up Dodge when he covers DOA too much because, frankly, I thought he was just too partisan. I thought he was way too pro DOA, so it seems like a little bit repetitive. I'll just go to DOA himself. Obviously, he doesn't always recount accurately or honestly what happens in his courtroom dramas or other issues, but still, just go to the horse's mouth, and there you go. But again, I'm not saying Dodge is a bad commentator. I'm just saying with DOA, it just seems he was just a little too skewed. That's why this latest tantrum is very strange. So DOS on the DOS channel and their lore of the DOS is kind of a mock imitation of DOA. And DOA is just going crazy attacking Dodge for allegedly backstabbing him, betraying him. So what is the truth of the matter? Okay, and this is a very sensitive topic. And again, I'm not trying to shill for views, but I just did this expose on another predator. And the paperwork was pretty strong. You can go to that video, it's very recent. And with DOA, I guess we just don't have that. So I'm very careful. I don't think we can call him legitimately a predator. He's done very questionable things, especially with women. I think brainwashing, gaslighting people, and even framing people with false accusations. And for accusations that I too am a grifter, no, like take Hamid Up. Hamid Up is a female activist. She was falsely accused by DOA. I stood up for her. I defended her. I got nothing out of it. No money, no information, nothing. I was just doing the right thing, and I was correct. There just seemed to be nothing to his accusations. So he does good work here and there. He was very critical of Aaron when many people were silent. And he went further than most, because even people who are critical of Aaron still cover up a lot and hold a lot of things back, like Marissa, Relatable Reese. So there's still a lot of cone of silence with Aaron. Even people who are critical and willing to say a few things are very careful to not reveal too much. And DOA, like him or hate him, does not hold back on Aaron. I think he's been very blunt and very critical and very useful in getting information out there about Aaron and his cult. But with this Dodge issue, I'm not clear what he's talking about. So allegedly, Dodge is a bad actor, an OSA agent. I mean, these accusations were just crazy because Dodge allegedly is using information from Dadant. Dadant is a very strong critic of DOA. So Dadant, Riddle, KT Pita, and these other people have been very critical of DOA for years, exposing his more shady side. Now, on this channel, I am really 95% not partisan. I have a few biases, and I will be blunt. I am pro Dadant. Dadant, I think, is like a receipt factory. like, I really don't recommend many other channels because I think, frankly, I do more damage. Like, if people want me to promote their channel, I'd be happy to do it. But guys, honestly, I'm like this black sheep, black plague guy. I mean, people just hate me for no reason, and the rumors or whatever I get are insane. So I think I'd be doing more damage. But if you want a recommendation, I'd say the Dadant has done a fairly good balanced job of exposing DOA where he's weak. And listen, DOA is free to comment here, right? I'm gonna do this other video real quick. Somebody was leaving some comments that I'm erasing comments. Believe me, I will let you know if I erase comments. I was not erasing comments for some recent Aaron video. I'll just do a short video showing, no, your comments are there. I didn't touch those comments. So DOA has the floor. The best I can get is DOA vaguely accused Dadant of murder or something, alleged murder. Which, all right, let's get to it. Even if that were true, that's not sufficient. I mean, what do you mean? Did they go to prison? Was it justified? Was it self-defense? I need more information. And DOA himself was confused, saying, "Oh, the Dant is Riddle and Riddle is the Dant," but then pulled that back and said, "Oh no, okay, maybe they're separate people. I really don't know. They're anonymous." Right, and but he says he does know them. He definitely knows them for sure. They're guilty of this and this and this, but no receipts. So we're just going in a big circle. That said, like, I want to be clear with Aaron and a few other things, he is strong. He does give receipts. He does back up what he's saying. He still gets a lot wrong, but again, he's on the basic right track because Karen and Jeffrey, who are these Aaron allies, who are always in the shadowy background, doing some really weird, dirty tricks because they're tied to intelligence agencies. I am not doing tinfoil stuff. That is confirmed. Karen and Jeff are hooked into various intelligence agencies. I'm not joking. Yep, the CIA, national intelligence agencies, just look it up. It's all there. So that's fine, right? You can't have the receipts on everything. There is a place for ambiguity. I have no idea what he's babbling about. So Dodge is now a bad guy for using the dance information. And 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 let's get to what he was getting upset about. He's getting upset that Dadant allegedly is calling him a predator. Now, Dadant has put out some critical videos on this precise issue. Dadant DOS and I have raised suspicions. I think we've all been careful, and these are individual people, they have their own channels, been very careful. These are suspicions. At this stage, they are only suspicions. There are valid suspicions. There's some weird stuff that he's not clarified about his family, about his sister, so on and so forth. But at this point, nothing confirmed. And again, if there was this video by Dadant, I'll be critical of it, but he doesn't specify. And if that's the case, I can't follow Dadant there unless we have some pretty strong evidence. So, still not clear what we're talking about. But allegedly, that is the reason he's getting really angry that Dadant is making this accusation, allegedly, and Dodge is running with it or legitimizing it. Well, again, we're still very vague here because. So I'll look again. I'm not seeing that on Dadant. I try to keep up with the Dadant videos. Like I said, I think it's a very good channel. I'd recommend it. So I'm not sure what he's alleging. If that is true, I would put the distance between that accusation unless I can get more paperwork. And that's where we are. So yeah, I mean, we're just in a puzzle palace with DOA sometimes. But that said, I do think he's on the right track with Karen, Jeff, and Aaron. And I think, again, people are a little too quick to dismiss him because he has. He's cried wolf. He does a lot of false accusations. He has a very bad record. But let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater, so to speak. Some stuff is just dead end, moronic, false accusations. I'm not going to name too many other people, right? I could. They've come to me. They've given me a lot of receipts. I'm not going to name them. It's too many people, but he has sometimes just led me, frankly, up a false alley. I've tried to follow him. I've gotten nothing out of it. So that is where we are. So apparently Dodge and DOA are no longer friends. I honestly, my own assessment, frankly, was that Dodge was too pro DOA and apparently not pro DOA enough, and DOA is very upset. But I've not seen that for myself from Dadant or DOS. Now, again, just to finish off and be very careful and blunt, there were a few posts, I'm not going to even say by who, that were a little dodgy, implying things DOA may have done. I think in retrospect, we should be careful, even if it's a joke. Let's be careful there. So, because again, false accusations can just do a lot of damage. Let's just finish off by saying the obvious, that DOA is guilty of that. DOA is very guilty of throwing false accusations out there. So, I mean, it's a little ironic. He's getting upset now, but okay, well, it's karma. You got to be careful when you do that yourself. But obviously, us adding false accusations to the mix is not helpful. Not helpful. But, other channels will do what they do. I did a video a few months ago also raising these questions. As a question, there are suspicions. But to repeat and conclude, there's nothing solid where Scott DOA has done something right, quote, underage victims. Now, I know, I mean, I'm trying to be careful and precise. I know some people brought up things. Yes, he has actually, quote, done things with underage victims, but being super precise in terms of right, like a serious crime, I don't think we have anything. Okay? I think that's the record. So if somebody has more information, okay, please provide it. So I'm not clear what DOA is saying. But if it is true that people are putting out false accusations, I would just say, please, let's not do that. That's not helpful. But I don't see that coming from Dodge. I just don't see that coming from Dadant. I know DOA is very paranoid. I know his group gets very paranoid. But I think I've tried to be fair-minded on these issues. So I'm not seeing anything that damages Dadant's reputation, or frankly, these other people, whether Riddle or DOS or whoever, or KT Pizza. Are they sometimes a little brutal with their jokes? Yeah, I mean, okay. DOA can be pretty brutal too. So there you go. I think I've tried to be in the middle with brutality. But if I've gone too far, well, I will apologize. I think we should be clear when we're doing parody. But no false accusations from here. If DOA has something solid, okay, just name dates. Let's be more specific, and I'll look it up. But I'm not saying anything yet. But there we are. The Dodge DOA friendship has come to a close, apparently, based on alleged false accusations by someone who is notorious for doing false accusations. Irony all around.